Paula Forget, and I'm going to talk about intuition. I've had a lot of different careers in my life, and I've noticed that I've used my intuition in many of them. I worked in home care for a while, so I had to really I really had to be able to connect with people, on a very heart level. I've worked in hospitality, and so I had to really be able to trust my gut feeling when somebody walks in the door, really get a snap impression of who they are. And then I've also worked as an artist, so I had to use my intuition to really tune in to the essence of things. So in the last 20 years, I've also been meditating a lot, and so I've learned to kind of get in touch with what are the different parts of myself, and I've learned about chakras. And I've learned that intuition is really, a lot of it is located right in our body. And we feel our intuition in different ways. So for instance, as Wendy was saying, it's in our body, we have that gut feeling. And it's in our solar plexus, we can really feel it there. Well, there's a chakra right there. And then whenever, you're meeting somebody or you're getting kind of like a feeling, you want to connect with someone, you'll feel it in your heart. You'll know, whether you resonate or not. And then maybe, you're an artist and you want to be inspired. You want to get that really great idea. Well, it'll come out of your crown chakra. And it'll come in, it'll come out of, seems like it's just coming, you're sucking it right out of the ethers. And you're creating something that's never been there before. Now, I've had experiences where I used to dream of the future. Nothing really earth-shattering, no cataclysmic earthquakes or anything, just small things. But that happens through the third eye, through clairvoyance. And so all those different types of intuition are things that we all encounter all the time. And sometimes we feel more than one of them at the same time. A lot of them will be buzzing all at once. And so, it's all part of our body and our physiology. And so I believe that it's really part of the way that we evolved. It's part of how we stay alive. That our intuition is kind of like our basic instincts. We call it intuition, but it's an instinct. So for instance, when you can really feel with somebody else, if you're in business, you have to be able to feel how another person is reacting to you. And they call that emotional intelligence. That's kind of a fancy word for empathy now. So an example that I like to give is in my own work. I've been an artist for 20 years. And so, for instance, I might need, the basic thing I have to do is to get into the essence of things and be able to express them, either as a sculpture or as a painting or a drawing. And so, for instance, if I'm trying to do a painting of a bird, I have to imagine that I can really feel what that bird is feeling. Now, I have a lot of memory, I have a lot of life experience, where I've seen a lot of birds, and I've seen how they behave. And I think a lot of that is learned. A lot of our intuition is learned from our past experiences. Now, sometimes it's not always accurate, but that's basically what we're expressing. Now, on the other hand, if we're using our higher senses, like if we're using our crown chakra, then we can connect with the energy of everything in the whole universe. And we can bring that into our work. So I just have a brief story to share about one example of how that came across. One day, somebody that I really didn't know very well came to me, and he said, "I'd like you to do a portrait of my wife." Now, I had never met her before. They were kind of a newlywed. They'd only been married maybe 2 or 3 years. And he wanted me to do a portrait of her, and he was going to give it to her as a gift. And so he asked me, he brought me a picture of her, and it was a really horrible picture, and I'm used to working with horrible pictures. You know, she's kind of standing behind 3 people, and it's kind of fuzzy, but there she is. And okay, do a life-size portrait of her. So okay.
Wow.
So I started working on it, and I was working in the hotel business at the time. And so I started working on it, and I had to go out of town to work. And I thought, well, I'll just bring it with me, and I'll finish it while I'm there. Well, during the trip, I took an airline, and my baggage got damaged, and the drawing got damaged. So I had to start it over again. So there I am sitting there, and okay, so I'm starting the drawing over. I'm doing the drawing. And then I started getting into her hair. You know, I started getting her hair and her hair. And I was just kind of flowing all along with her hair and doing all that. And I had it, by the time I came back, it was all finished. And so I called him up and I said, oh, come on over, it's done. And I gave it to him, and he said, oh my gosh, her hair. She just changed it. She just had it done like that now. That's how it looks now. And so he was like, oh my God, I was really happy. Yes, of course. So I gave it to him, and I said, now, this is just a drawing. It's mounted, but you really need to get it framed and put a glass on it, and, you know, before you put it up on the wall, just to protect it. So he took it home. Well, about 3 months later, he came back, and he said, oh, well, you know, I didn't do what you told me to do. I took it and I just put it up on the wall, and I came home, and it had fallen on the floor, and my dog tore it up. Oh, no. And so I had to do it another time. So I ended up doing this drawing 3 times. And he paid me twice. So anyways, that's kind of how it expresses itself, you know, in my work. So a lot of the times I've experienced intuition in many different ways from the time I was a kid to now. And I always try to think of, you know, which chakra is affected, you know, which chakra would help me in how I use my intuition. And so this is what I wanted to share with you today.
Good.